Hello and welcome to the isolation ward. Don't worry, I'm not trying to make light of the situation. I know a lot of people are ill, a lot of people are living in situations that are dreadful and they can't go out, they can't get enough food. I was lucky in that respect. I got ill about 3 weeks ago. Started out with headaches and with the dry cough that everybody speaks of, but I only really developed a fever about a week in. So the first week, strangely enough, I got really creative and productive and got a lot of things out of the way that I needed to look at to continue having an income in this period of time. This said, I'm not sure if what I had was COVID. It could have been a flu because ultimately the symptoms are very similar, but my doctor said it's likely that's what it was. But for now and for the foreseeable future, until such time as I get a test that confirms I've had it, I will still operate on the basis that I might catch COVID from anybody I encounter. I think that's the sane thing to do, and I urge you to do the same. During this period, I had a lot of time on my hands to think about things, to consider my own situation, to consider other people's situations. And that was helped by a lot of conversations through video conferences, through phone calls, and the fact that not just me, but a lot of other people are reaching out and trying to figure out what's going on with their friends, their family, their loved ones. I see that as an upside to the situation we're in. There seems to be a lot more communication and reaching out going on, even by people you wouldn't necessarily expect. For example, I was ill. I was self-isolating for 3 weeks. I actually went out for the first time today and it felt really uncomfortable. But in that period, I had enough food to start with, but I had two people who actually brought things to me that I couldn't get myself, like milk and bread, things that don't have a long shelf life. And I had about half a dozen people reaching out, asking me if I need anything, and they would be ready to bring it to me, which was really, really emotional for me because it's very unusual for me to rely on the help of others. And I think that's a healthy thing to realize, that there are people out there who are ready to jump in and help. Looking at what's going on around me, I can't help but wonder if I'm not in a very privileged situation. And in truth, I am really grateful for a lot of things. For example, I have a flat where I live on my own. It's small, but it affords me the peace and quiet that a lot of people don't get. I'm thinking about families with children. I'm thinking of couples living in very closed spaces. I'm thinking of lots of people living in small quarters who cannot afford a bigger space to live in. Those who share kitchens and bathrooms with other people must feel absolutely horrified at the thought that one of them might get ill. I'm in a privileged position. I realize that. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity that I have. Plus, I do have a flat with a lot of sunshine, with a beautiful view outside. I'm not looking out on forest or anything, but I get a wide view. I'm not just looking at a brick wall. So I'm not really feeling cooped up in my place. But there are also downsides, and I experience those very much. They all have to do with physical contact with people. I am very touchy-feely, and I'm realizing just how much I need a hug right now. And I need to touch people physically. There's something to be said for video conferencing and email exchanges. There is a level of connection, but it's the kind of connection that speaks to the brain, that is about facts, but it doesn't speak to the gut. And I desperately need to touch people. But then I know it's going to be a long time before that's going to happen. After all this, here's my very personal advice to everybody. When you have time, and I'm sure you have time on your hands right now, sit down and consider what things are good in your life right now, rather than worry about the things that are bad or that don't function or that you are not quite sure about. Try to push the future to the side for a moment and look realistically at the good things in your life. Because from a mental health perspective, that is exactly what you need to do in order to keep going. If you only look at the negative sides of what's going on around you and the fears that you carry within you, you will crack. And we don't want that. I don't want that, you don't want that, and your friends don't want that. So go ahead, sit down, look at something beautiful, look at a plant in your house, look at pictures that you enjoy looking at, and then consider what is still good in your life. And that could be the fact that you can drink a cup of coffee in the morning, or that you have a regular phone call with a friend. Anything that keeps your spirits up is good medicine at this time. Consider this. Be well, stay safe, and come back for more.